right, family, welcome back to the channel. This is One-on-One with Cut Nice 50. Today, man, we got another amazing video review. And so we appreciate y'all for tuning in. All y'all who've been rocking with us for a while, you already know what time it is. But if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Today, man, we're going on Roland Martin Unfiltered. I tell you, I know he got a like 5 million followers on YouTube. I myself personally, I don't do negativity, downgrading, talking down to people, calling them names, whatever the case may be. I just don't do it personally. But this guy right here, man, some of the things that come out of his mouth on a public platform is astounding to myself. It's something that I never say. So I can't even wrap my mind what would persuade me to disrespect so many people in this type of fashion, whether it's unprofessional behavior, whatever the case. You share your thoughts. If you're a Roland Martin fan, tell me what you like about this guy, and you don't like him, what you don't like about him. And I'm quoting him: 77,237,942 people voted for Trump this election. Whether you voted for him or you voted for Kamala, you let your voice be heard, and majority won. It was a landslide out there. Electoral and public vote, Trump won. I don't get into politics myself, so either one, it's a lose-lose in my book, regardless of the fact. But it appears to be, in my own personal perception, that Democrats is way worse than Republicans. That's just it. I'm a big believer in bipartisanship. I think we would have had an amazing opportunity if we voted for R.F. Kennedy Jr. You already know about the Kennedys, how his family. I did a couple of videos on that. You can check them out on the channel. But this is what Roland Martin just said in this video. Man, about the people who voted for Trump. We're dealing with people who no longer care about integrity. And he quoted, some of them are sick and demented people. Is he right or is he wrong? Share your thoughts and let me know what you think. But just imagine you got that much of an influence, 1.5 million people. You've been in the industry for a long time. You call yourself a reporter or entertainer, whatever his title is. I generally don't watch a show. Somebody sent me the information, so I said I'm gonna go ahead and react on it and just share my own personal opinions for it. But that's just like The View. I did a little digging. The View, they pretty much do the same thing. If you don't support what they support for, they get on you, criticize you, judge you, all that same stuff. But I also found out that The View is back. It's a show produced by Disney, if that makes sense to you. If you know anything about Disney's, all the other stuff that goes on with them, then you should know about this show right here and why it's still on air. Because I don't see how stuff like that will still be on air unless it's for a specific reason. Like I said, I don't believe in creating division in it. I think everybody entitled to their own opinions, perception, and we can always agree to disagree. But that doesn't mean just because you voted for Kamala, I voted for Trump, or whoever the case may be, even though I said it out. Just like I just found out over 2.3 million people who didn't vote also, but it still was a landslide just because something told them not to. Like I said, I believe in the ultimate father. It's doing everything else. I'm not gonna complain. If Kamala would have won, I still would have did my day-to-day life, do whatever I got to do. It probably would have been tougher, just like it was under President Biden. Would have been tougher. Groceries always harder, but we still was gonna do whatever we got to do to protect our family, provide for our family, and try to stay positive as long as we can. I personally believe it's the end days, man. All this division, all these trends, negativity, all the sexualization on social media, all the people in the church, false prophets. It's so much stuff that is unrealistic. I just think most people out there are bots. They can't be real. They can't be humans. They have to be bots that is still sleep. That's the only thing I can think of. It's no way that you can listen to all this media. Maybe it brainwash some people, or maybe people just don't understand the program that's been put in us over the years. I was raised to be a Democrat until I educated myself and found out, just like Biden, the 3-strike law. How you know how much of my family was got locked up or whatever the case from these bills and laws that the Democratic Party put in place? Fathers out of the home, child support system, you name it, all of this that this party did, which hurt African-American people, or just people in general who are not on the middle class or upper middle class or wealthy, generally they don't have to worry about these issues that most of us coming up did. I myself, like I said, I do like some of the policies and procedures that the Republicans do, but like I still believe that it's ultimately a uniparty. This could create more division. I don't see no bipartisanship major deals. I hope Trump did one back when he was in term, pushing forward a couple things, but a main that's your main aspect is to work together instead of building up and tearing down, building up and tearing down, depending on who actually get in office. But if you look at the record overall, the Republicans did more for the low income middle class Americans than anybody. You know, of course, the wealthy Americans, they anything financially stable, you're going to keep progressing as you go forward. But like I say, I always have to be an independent. It's no way that I can be a Democrat ever again. And once I think people, if they actually did the research and see if it was a chart, see what Democrats did for the people and what Republicans did for the people, they'd no longer be Democrats. That's just my own honest opinion. But share yours and let me know if I'm right or wrong, or where do you stand in the aisle. If it's doing the best for your family, you're able to feed your family like you needed to, while Democrats isn't there, then you was doing really well. But for most of us, it was a struggle these last couple of years. But I don't see how Roland Martin called 77,237,942 Americans sick and demented, and they don't care about integrity. I'm baffled. But let's go ahead and jump into this video. Share your thoughts. To tune in is going to be another amazing one. Don't forget to always full link in the description section below. Let's go.
This election also tells us that character no longer matters. They didn't care if he overthrew the election. They didn't care if he cheated companies. They didn't care if he cheated small businesses. They didn't care if he lied on his taxes. They didn't care if he lied about the cost of the value of his businesses. In fact, Trump told 30,000 lies last time he was in Oval Office. They're like, yeah, we good. Yeah, we're good. We good with the lies. Ain't no problem. We're good with it. What does that tell you? It tells you is that we're dealing with people who no longer care about integrity. So it no longer matters. This country, I damn sure didn't, but this country has decided to reward a massive liar. They've decided to reward somebody with the highest office in the land who cannot tell the truth. And if you want to understand just how sick and demented some of these people are.
Did y'all just heard how sick and demented some of these people are? And he's going to go to an article, but the title of the video, I guess it had 1 Samuel 8. Let's go ahead and take a look at that and get into it. As y'all can see, 7,237,942 people voted for Trump. All right, I got this 1 Samuel 8 up here. When Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons as Israel leaders. The name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of the second was Abijah, and they served at Beersheba. But his sons did not follow his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain, accepted bribes, and perverted justice. So all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. They said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have." But when they said, "Give us a king to lead us," this displeased Samuel. So he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord said to him, "Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king. As they have done from this day I brought them up out of Egypt, until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods. So they are doing to you. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his rights." Now, this is what the title of the video was. He was giving this deception about 1 Samuel 8. that the people wanted a king, so they begged and told him to appoint a king. Samuel was displeased because they thought they were rejecting him, but God said, no, they're not rejecting you. They're not displeased by you. But he's going to tell them what the other ones do. Now, you can pull it up and go in from over and over, but share your perception of 1 Samuel 8. I'm not going to make this one into a Bible study, but that just tells you that maybe he didn't understand the whole context of what that scripture actually means. And to put that as the title of your video, a biblical scripture to call 77 million people, telling them they don't care about integrity and that they are sick and demented while using biblical scripture is mind-boggling. But share your thoughts. And maybe I'm overlooking it, but I would never do it. But let's go ahead and continue.
This was a media story done where they interviewed this guy, Matt Wolfson, in Scranton, Pennsylvania, a 45-year-old former construction worker. He looked around at poverty in the Rust Belt city and thought the nation needed a change in leadership. Now, mind you, Joe Biden from Scranton. Well, I just want y'all to understand what we're dealing with. Wolfson said he didn't love the dictatorial aspect of Trump's personality, but thought it could keep the country out of wars and maybe bring peace to some other conflicts, including Ukraine. I want y'all, this is a real quote. He's good and bad. People say he's a dictator. I believe that. I consider him like Hitler, Wolfson said, but I voted for the man.
Now, I don't know if this quote is actually real. Y'all can look it up for yourself and let me know in the comments below. Did this guy actually say that? But that what tells you about the candidates that we have. He believes that somewhat. Maybe I think all the politicians are good and bad. That's just no doubt in my mind. That it's politics. It's not for the people all around per se. But he's a dictator in what aspect? That he's not gonna take no BS or whatever the case may be. But I believe the guy said he believed that he's like Hitler. I don't think nobody believes that. Maybe if the media, whatever, but if you thought he was like Hitler, you think somebody would actually vote for somebody who actually slaughtered, almost annihilated thousands of individuals? I don't think so. But this guy's only 45. If this quote is actually real, look it up for yourself and let me know what you think. Was he misquoted? I have to do some due diligence and research that if I get some time. But I might do a follow-up on this video. But share y'all thoughts and let me know what you think.
Y'all, there is no amount of policy, plans, prescriptions, specifics from Vice President Kamala Harris or Minnesota Governor Tim Walz or any Democrat that can counter that.
But he still voted for it.
Voted for the devil. See, in fact, since y'all gonna make me go here. See, I'm gonna have to.
So he's saying 77 million people voted for the devil, but whose policies is more pushing towards devilish things? That's just my own honest opinion. Just share your thoughts. Regardless of what we want to say, policies do matter. I don't think Trump is like Hitler. I don't think it's racist. And most of the people who were saying he was racist actually worked for him and he paid them the most money they ever made in their life, like Whoopi and other people, so forth. So I don't get some of these other things. Is he arrogant? Of course. Is he rich? Of course. Did he say he utilized the same things that I remember what the name was? Clinton used? Of course. He told all the dirty business, saying he'd been using the same thing for years. So if he told 30,000 lies, I want to see the printout of 30,000 lies that you say he told. That's just everybody, I guess, lie or tell white lies, whatever the case may be. But generally, people voted for Trump because he don't hold back. He generally say it how it is, regardless of how it sounds. But let's go.
See, we're not set for a position over there, so I'm going to have to go ahead and stay right here because I need to actually stand up on this. I need to stand up on this here. So some of y'all, if y'all really want to understand what we're dealing with, Let me just go ahead and go biblical on some folk here. Go
Are
ahead,
you going?
zoom. I stand up on this one.
Are you
So let
going
me just
biblical?
explain to y'all what just happened. Let me explain to y'all in biblical terms what just happened. Go ahead and zoom the camera out. What just happened in this election in biblical terms is that
Now, like I said before, I'm a Bible believer. I believe in God, Jesus, everything else. As a believer, I don't even call myself a Christian because Jesus never called himself a Christian. I know that they deem the term because you say that you're his followers, stuff like that. I just don't agree with it, with all the hypocritical nature and stuff, especially stuff in America that I see that Christians or proclaimed Christians are claiming themselves to be. I just don't agree with it. But it's certain things when it comes to getting rid of the unborn, when God said he's anointed you in his womb, that's something I can never support. Everybody support women rights and whatever the case, but I'm gonna actually do a video of the Roe versus Wade. Y'all can check that out with the actual numbers of how many people that could have been alive that was annihilated. You're gonna be shocked and amazed. So if you want to actually check that video out, it's gonna be heartbreaking to a lot of people who actually didn't understand the implications of what they was choosing for when they was actually voting Democrat for this same policy right here, the my body, my choice, whatever they want to call the policy. When you was actually voting for that, when you hear the numbers, it's gonna blow your mind, and you couldn't even fathom or imagine the detriment to the world that was caused by the same thing. I mean, as a believer, you're entitled to believe whatever your case may be. That's why I think we have to be living in our last days because people just don't get to understand or see past the programming and other narratives that they push in our face. We want to create divide or don't be friends or don't support somebody because they vote different than you and it's their own opinion, their own perception. I'm never going to get mad at you or criticize because you want to vote Democrat or Republican or whatever the case. You don't want to vote, it doesn't affect me. I don't care too much about politics. I'm not going to let that ruin my relationship that I have with an actual human being, a person, if y'all had a connection. That's just me personally. Do it speak about some of your characteristics depending on what you're pushing for? If it actually works for your family, I guess do whatever what pleases you and what's good to you, but also lean on your heart and lean on the Bible if you need understanding. We don't supposed to understand everything. We don't put in our own understanding because we are contradicting each other. That's just us. That's our human nature. That's why we need God to prevent contradicting ourselves or going by our own personal perceptions and beliefs and understanding because we don't know it all. But let's go ahead and continue. Share your thoughts and let me know.
the United States did the exact same thing as the children of Israel did if you actually read your Bible. Y'all go ahead and go to my iPad. Okay? So if y'all at home, understand
the same one I just pulled up.
1 Samuel 8, Israel, they decided that, you know what? We need a king. And so it says, they said, give us a king to lead us. Samuel wasn't happy. Samuel prayed to the Lord. The Lord told him, listen to all of the people are saying to you, it is not you they have rejected, but they rejected me as their king, as they have done from the day I brought them out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so they are doing to you. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his rights. So Samuel went to them and said, all right, y'all want a king? Okay, this is what the king who reign over you will claim as his rights. He will take your sons and make them serve with his chariots and horses, and they will run in front of his chariots. Some he will assign to be commanders of thousands, commanders of 50s, and others to plow his ground and reap his harvest, and still others to make weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and other olive groves and give them to his attendants. He will take a tenth of your grain and of your vintage and give it to his officials and attendants. Your male and female servants and the best of your cattle and donkeys he will take for his own use. He will take a tenth of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. When that day comes, you will cry out for relief from the king you have chosen, but the Lord will not answer you in that day. But the people ignored Samuel. They said, no, we still want a king.
I'm Aisha Cass. I'm a logistics and operations manager at
It's always amazed with me, man, when people criticize, judge, and condemn others for doing whatever they claim is right and then throw biblical textures in there. Oh, misrepresented.
With the king to lead us and to go out before us and fight our battles. When Samuel heard all of the people said, he repeated it before the Lord answered, listen to them and give them a king. And Samuel said to the Israelites, everyone go back to your own town. I mean, anybody who knows that scripture knows the king was Saul. And we know Saul was evil as hell because he was crazy. So you see, so America said.
So y'all just heard him. He said Saul was evil as crap and he was crazy. And God still appointed him. Like I said before, we don't put stuff to our own understanding. Always lean on God for the answers. Always, even if y'all support this guy right here, do you think what he's saying is correct? He's talking about these guys don't have no integrity. How many people you know voted for Trump has plenty of integrity? How many you know who are not sick and demented? That's just my own personal perception. But share your thoughts and let me know.
No. I know y'all dug us out of that horrible economy. I know you rebuilt the infrastructure in this country. I know we provided the American Rescue Plan. I know we actually, you were the most pro-union, pro-working class presidency since FDR. We know all of those things. But you know what? We want a king. We want a king. We want to go back to the glory days of Pharaoh. Because it was great in 17 and 18 and 19. We're going to skip over 20, 21, all the after effects. We're going to skip all that. But it was just so great and it was just so wonderful when we had us a king. Oh, I know the man said in his own mouth that I'm going to be a dictator. I know the man actually said what I'm going to do. I know the man said, oh, to the rich folk, hey, y'all did great under me. Y'all going to do greater under me. I know he said all of that. But the poor folks said, "Oh yeah, but let's go ahead and put the king in because he was a master at the economy. Oh, he filed bankruptcy 6 times. I know he lied a whole lot when he was there. I know he actually ran the nation's debt up, added 25% to the nation's debt. But he's a genius. We're gonna do so much better because the last few years we have not done well. Of course, we didn't want to own up to what he did, the deal that he cut with the Saudi Arabia that caused gas prices to go up in 2022, also caused inflation to go up in that particular year. I know he did
all this stuff that he was talking about has been disputed. We all know if we had a whole better economy under Trump. Regardless of some of the other stuff, they do shady business deals all around the fact. You can't tell me that under Biden, anything was better. Unemployment, housing, interest rates, cost of living, wages, jobs, you name it, is nothing that was better under Biden than it was under Trump. And we can't go back to what those days people are hoping for, regardless of the fact. Only thing we can do is go forward and see what's going to actually take place. But it's no way we can compare the two administrations. Let's go.
But I just think we're going to do just so much better than him than we did. Now forget the fact that unemployment today, even before the election, was actually lower than it was in December 2019. Oh, forget the fact that all of these companies began to lower their prices because they were price gouging, and they saw a vice president saying, now I become president, I'm going to deal with y'all when it comes to price gouging. Well, see, then you got Wall Street and big companies say, oh, yeah, Trump is now back. So guess what? They're going to allow mass consolidation. They're going to allow all sorts of monopolies to be created. Oh, we now going to be able to have all these companies and we can now merge together. Do y'all know what happens when companies actually begin to merge together? Layoffs. You know what they call that? Economic efficiencies. That means that we have redundancies.
We already see layoffs always Amazon, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, all the big stores, Macy's, JC Penney's. I can go down the line and provide a whole list. Look how many layoffs that companies, big corporations did to people this past year. COVID, you name it. It's so many layoffs and stuff that they're not talking about, or they try to ignore like they didn't take place, that people are still going. Now you got AI and they taking so many other jobs, especially in these factories and warehouses. You already see the testing in New York City with the police dogs and all this other stuff. It's going to be hard out there. I don't care who president is, regardless. If we replacing humans with AI, it's not going to be for the betterment of humans. I can tell you that much. I don't care what they're saying, but it's the signs of the time, man. I still believe in nothing can replace a human. Your own thought, your own personal beliefs, your own unique gifts, your talents, your opinions. I mean, even though we can agree to disagree, I still don't think we are replaceable. You know what I mean? You're entitled to disagree with me. I'm entitled to disagree with you. That's what makes us unique. But when you have an entity that they don't care what it is, no opinion, no soul, no nothing in it, and it's just one way, that cannot be good. You know what I mean? They can follow the law and stuff like that. It can probably be good for some type of law enforcement, but we all know that life is not black or white. It is a gray line down the middle, and everybody can either tamper on either side depending on the situation that you thrown into. You know, if it's to protect your family, you can go to the dark side. If it's just to live life normal, you can go to the left. It just all depends on the situation. But maybe that's my own personal perception. I guess he keep say Trump. Let me go to try to skip and see what else he talking about at the end. It's hard for me to hear what this guy has to say and just keep going.
God will give you the desires of your.
I'm even surprised he even talking about God, but I can't. Maybe he do have his own battle, but just people that spew negativity. I see pastors doing it. I see people of faith doing it, faith leaders and that cussing and talking down, and it has to be a better way. But maybe that's my way of thinking. It has to be a better way. I don't see it. I don't understand it. You telling me you can't talk to somebody without demeaning them or bringing them down?
The desires of your heart, but that does not mean that that's operating within his will. Oh yeah. So I know all these evangelicals, that's right. God saved Trump's life with the assassination because he wanted him to be president. I need them evangelicals to realize, I don't know what Bible y'all reading, because I can show you numerous examples where God allowed things to happen because that's what people wanted. Oh, but then after it happened, they were crying out to the Lord, Lord, please save us. Oh, please save us, because this king lost his mind. See, when you beg for a king, when you plead for a king, when you reject the prophets who have properly advised you of what happens when you get a king, then you have to deal with the repercussions of the king's actions. And I'm letting y'all know right now at 7:51 p.m. Eastern on this day, November 11th, 2024, this video is going to be played back. And people are going to say, oh my God, we didn't know these things were going to happen. And then we're going to say, we tried to tell you. We're going to sit here and say, we tried to tell you before the election.
It's going to be replayed, but not how he's thinking. Cat Williams was on point when he said a lot of things, that in 2024, all things will be exposed. I think he was right. All things will be exposed. All people will be exposed. I just want to share that quick clip. I can't go through another couple minutes of what this guy is saying. Like I said before, the negative energy, just the energy from him, the perception that he has, I just don't agree with it. But you thinking that all these people made a mistake or voted for a specific reason other than what's actually right in front of you is, like I said before, ain't no right or no wrong. God allows everything to happen and transpire to take place for whatever reason. It's not for our own interpretation. We might want to be in charge. We might think we're extra smart that we can put our place in what God's plans is, but we don't have a clue or can't even accept the rationale behind it. Like I said before, man, the division, like I say, is real. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican. You should be able to call out your leaders, the people who do your media, the people you support, if they're right or if they're wrong. If I'm wrong, say I'm wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong sometimes. I can admit when I'm right. But people that you follow, we all know good and evil exists. Is it right to criticize, talk down to somebody because they got a different opinion from you? To actually call them demented, evil, sick, all kind of other names, cuss them out, lack of education, all these things that they've been saying. Is it right for him? Even though Trump, we know he's rich, he's says whatever comes out of his mouth. He didn't have the best team around the last time. Is it right for them to call him Hitler? Like how many mass people he done slaughtered? What other things that he done did that they claim, besides lying or telling the truth, depending on how you want to look at it, what does his personal business? People who know the law know what they actually try to see. What president have we ever seen them go after with misdemeanors, trying to put a president or ex-president on trial for things that really don't matter? Blackmail, you name it, all this other stuff. What other president have you ever seen in history that happened to? And people woke up and they saw that. That's why they voted for him. They voted because they know we need to change. We need more money in our pocket. We need a whole lot of things. So low income voted because they're out there overworked, not getting paid, and they work plenty of overtime. So that probably was a major boost when he said he's getting ready to tax on overtime. You know how many people that's going to help out? Millions of people. People at the border who was complaining day in and day out about the struggles and the life that they trying to live, but nobody's taking the account that it's actually bad for them. Maybe these was the things, but that's just my own personal perception. Share yours. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Man, boy, I tell you, Roland Martin fans, was he right or was he wrong? And with that, we out.